I've made $100 million making emails for e-commerce brands. And in this video, I'm going to be going through my exact process A to Z, creating emails for two big brands, Calvin Klein and Feastables, to show you how to create professional and high converting emails from scratch. This will be from ideation to writing the copy to designing the emails, all the way to putting these emails into our sending platform for these to actually be sent. Now, if you just skip to the end and look at the final emails, you're not going to get any value, because what's most valuable is you being able to see exactly how my brain thinks, the different psychological triggers that I'm using within these emails. You can only see if you watch this video in full. These are the secrets that allow me to help brands scale profitably with the cheapest form of marketing on the planet, which is email. So let's get right into it. So the first part of our email creation process is ideation. What is the idea behind our emails? That could be a bestseller email. We could do an email just highlighting an FAQ of ours. Whatever it is, we want to be really specific with what our emails are. You can get a ton of inspiration by going to ChatGPT, or you can just go around your website and try to think of some ideas. So if I go to Calvin Klein's website here, I have a ton of different ideas that I could create. Father's Day is coming up, so we could create a Father's Day email, highlighting different Father's Day gifts. Do a thank you email just towards dads. Could do a whole email about 50% off site-wide. Could do an underwear highlight. And then specifically about underwear, we could highlight our ingredients. Why do we choose these ingredients? We could talk about where we source our ingredients. Tons of different ideas. Now, I want to have two different styles of emails for this video. And so for Feastables, I'm going to do more of an educational email, whereas for Calvin Klein, I want to do a sales sort of email. And so looking at Milled, which is just a free website, milled.com, where you can spy on other brands' emails and everything that they're sending, I noticed that they have this friends and family sale, which is essentially 40% off site-wide. So let's just do an email focusing on this and highlighting this offer so that we can create a high converting email when we do sales. So I've put in the relevant notes here for the brief for this email so that we can write the copy. Friends and family sale, 40% off the whole store, but you get an extra 20% off if you buy in store. So pushing people to actually go to the physical locations. So they have a new collection of logo pieces that we want to highlight in this email. And then just to give some people some outfit inspiration, we're going to be like, okay, pair those logo pieces with denim. And then boom, that's an email brief. Now let's go to the idea behind Feastables. So there's lots of different stuff here. We could do a birthday cake batter, new product right here. And look, we get the pop-up. Looks like there's something peanut butter. I'm a big fan of peanut butter, so I kind of want to do something peanut butter related. Look at that. This is some good imagery that we could use in the email. And then being able to design with like the peanut butter, let's do something that's highlighting their peanut butter product right here. So we could do a peanut butter highlight. Let me do a little bit of extra research on this. So this is actually an older flavor, but really what works well psychologically in people is if you make things seem new. And so if we could do some sort of like restock or some sort of relaunch sort of vibe for this peanut butter chocolate bar, that should perform really well. Even if you don't have a ton of new products coming out, you can use this little psychology and do product highlights and make it kind of seem like this is a new thing coming out. Because a lot of people might not know that he has peanut butter chocolate bars, which I didn't know. So we're gonna do product highlight here. But another thing that people really aren't aware of with this chocolate company is their ethical sourcing. I saw this page on their website on their ethical sourcing and how they're actually giving back, and they're trying to take down big chocolate companies who take advantage of small communities, specifically communities in Africa. So this is something that we really want to promote in our email. So let's do a product highlight of the peanut butter chocolate while also talking about our fair trade and commitment to ethical sourcing. So we give people something really irresistible with the chocolate, and then we back it up with social proof and giving people a reason to feel happy about their purchase. And so here's the brief peanut butter chocolate feature. We're gonna have a sustainability section taken from this section, and they have a lot of solid designs and imagery, so we want to carry these over and add email sections and make these higher converting. Then I've just linked to the product here so that we can have it. So there is our ideation. Now let's get into actually writing the copy. So this is how I like to write copy. I like to actually visualize what my email is going to look like by its different sections. So I entered this into a Google Doc and split things up into the different sections. Most good emails are going to follow this layout where you have a hero section, which is going to be kind of like where the customer doesn't need to scroll. It's right at the top of the email. We'll have a bridge section and then a product section, and then finally the footer at the bottom. That's how most emails will look, but not all of them. I just like to start out here so I can really visualize my email. And always, what I'm doing is I'm going to a website like Milled or like reallygoodemails.com or emaildonut.com and stealing inspiration and emails that I like from these brands so that I can piece together my own unique email. And so pretty much for every sort of email layout, we're gonna have a headline and then some body copy and then a button at the top of the email. We like this sort of layout. We like this sort of layout. We like this. I would like this if there was a button up here. We like this. We don't like this because there's no button. If there was a button up here, that'd be good. But essentially this is what we want to do. Something I really like here that I think I just got inspiration from for Calvin Klein is having 2 buttons in the hero section. So this brand right here, they're doing get 4-pack, get the 6-pack. Now what we could do for Calvin Klein, since we have men and women, is at the top of our email, we can have a shop woman and a shop men button. And I think this is the most used hero section layout. And it's probably the safest thing that we can do. Maybe once we get to designing, we can have a little bit more fun, but I'm probably just gonna go with a headline focused on the discount offer, making that as clear as possible. Maybe have a little bit of body copy and then have shop men and then shop woman right here. And then we can have a graphic of some sort in the top section. Usually for clothing brands, you really need to show the product. And so I'm probably gonna do a photo gallery. So I'm just gonna put a photo gallery section right here, and then we'll see what we wanna do once we get to designing. Since this is a sale email, you don't always need a bridge. You kind of just want people to just go and shop right now. So I think I'm gonna get rid of the bridge section and just go straight to the product section. So we have 40% off. We wanna promote the logo pieces. So how about we have this whole hero section be about the logo pieces, and then the product section, let's highlight the denim products and say like pair with these different products. So it's been about 10 minutes since I last did this, but essentially I'm trying to get inspiration for this product section. I found this brand, Bronze Snake. I just looked up like fashion and looked up the niche and kind of found this brand, and I was like, okay, I like some of these parts. And so we want a product section to be super simple. So I'm thinking something like this by woman and men, splitting different sections, showing both woman and men's products. And then I like how this is shown. I thought this was cool. You have the lady like going over top the frame. So I want to do something like this for men and women. We'll just replace like this with this little box to give it some more life, and we'll do that for all of them. And so this is how I had this section kind of like lay out, and then we can add the copy after this. So if you're working with a designer, you can prompt them with something like this, but essentially I said women's denim, show the products like this, and then we're gonna have 2 products for women, product image. We're gonna have the name, and then we're gonna have price before, slash it out, and then show the 40% off price. I found this is super effective for sales. Do the same on this side, and then a shop women's button, and then men's denim here. Forgot to have the headline. We're gonna do pair with denim at the top, and then we'll have the men's denim. Add this button, shop men's, and then boom. And then we'll have the footer. And then actually for one last little piece, what I'm gonna do is add one more section, just prompting people again to say, hey, if you want an extra 20% off, you can go in store. So I'm just gonna put that in here for now, and then we'll come back as we write the copy. So now we need a headline, body copy, and then we're pretty much good to go here. We just need to put in our product information and then a section on spending in store. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna call in ChatGPT to help me out. This is a free custom GPT that you can have access to. I actually made this with over 500 docs of email marketing trainings and tons of back and forth and development over the past 6 months. And you can have it for free. If you click this button, then it's gonna prompt you to like be like, okay, what exactly are you looking for? I have a question about email marketing. Write me an email marketing campaign, which is what we're gonna do here. Give me email campaign ideas. So you could use this to replace that first step that we had. Create an email campaign calendar, and then create me a graphic to use in my email. We're just gonna have us write an email marketing campaign. So I'm gonna type B, and then here it's spitting out, okay, what's the website of the brand? Give me 2 to 3 sentences describing the products and all this stuff so that I can create those. Okay, so I just filled this out answering these quick questions, and we should be good to go. Then if we don't like kind of the copy that it spits out, then we can add in some more information about like our tone of voice. So I'm just gonna send this in, and then we should get quite a few options with different like headlines and sections we can use. All right, so we can see it spitting out tons of different variations for us to use here. You can see it has body copy, bridge section, and then the product section here. Really all I care about is the headline, subheadline, body copy. Everything else we kind of mapped out. You can see though that it spit out a couple good bridge sections here as well, with like step 1, step 2, step 3, infographic of like news of like a styling. So bold look, breakdown different products. So pretty cool ideas here. So I think in this case, I'm not gonna do a sub headline. So I think I might just take this sub headline, just super simple, 40% off everything, plus extra 20% off in store. So I just went ahead and plugged that in. Now let's get the body copy. Now I think we could do a little bit more. We could have a little bit more words here in the body copy. Give me more body copy variations and make the body copy slightly longer. So let's see what we can get right here. All right, so we got some different options right here. Let's see what I want. Okay, I kind of like this. I just like this straightforward right in the copy. So I'm gonna copy this, and then I don't love this part as much, so I might steal from like another one. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, this is kind of repetitive, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And then we just have our most loved logo tees. Okay, so after going back and forth for a little bit, I've kind of like boiled things down to these after talking with ChatGPT. And I think I like this one the best. Start with a bold logo tee, layer on a denim jacket, add your favorite jeans, clean cuts to iconic fit. Now's the time to restock the styles you wear on repeat. Banger. So this is what it's like to go back and forth with ChatGPT, and I'm probably gonna get rid of this. I think that this is nice, clean, and straightforward. Let's just add a line about getting an extra 20% off in store. Boom, shop online or head in store to unlock an extra 20% off. This looks pretty good to me. We'll have a photo gallery. Oh, and then we need this bottom section right here. How I think about these bottom sections is treat it like a mini email if we're just gonna have a little blurb at the bottom. So just a headline, bonus savings in store as a friends and family bonus. Take an extra 20% off when you shop in person. Same styles, even better deal. Just walk in and show up. And so I kind of just asked ChatGPT to help me come up with a quick section on this. And then I took some of these ideas, read some of this, kind of just like wordsmith together this right here. So not too shabby. I think this is all good to design. Now let's go to the Feastables email. We have a peanut butter chocolate feature. We'll have a sustainability section and then use some of their designs, but kind of just add things and make them emailified. So same situation, we are going to add these different sections right here. And I think I'm literally just gonna have ChatGPT like do this all for me, or at least help me create like the whole outline of this email. So going back to the email marketing brain, I'm gonna have it write another email for me, answer B, and then it's gonna ask the questions. So I'm literally just having ChatGPT help me answer these questions to then give back to ChatGPT. So what is the email about? What you can do is you can give ChatGPT all of the links. So I said peanut butter chocolate feature email and then linked it to the page, and then add sustainability section for the bridge from this. So let's just give ChatGPT this and see what we can come up with. You can see some pretty cool subject line ideas. This bar will ruin all chocolate for you. Warning, addictively creamy inside. And then some good preview texts right here. And so you can see it analyzed the website and kind of got the tone of voice right here. Lots of good stuff. So headline, peanut butter, chocolate, goated. This bar slaps, so that's very much in his voice. MrBeast's favorite snack right now. Cleanie's never tasted this filthy good. Nothing artificial, all the flavor. You've had chocolate, you've had peanut butter, but never like this. Okay, that's kind of a banger. I think I'm gonna use that. Organic, plant-based, and melt in your mouth magic. This is your upgrade. Okay, I like this. Let's go on ahead and get to work on the actually writing this copy. So for this email, I want to make sure that we have the headline. We don't need to have a subheadline if we don't want to. We're just going to go straight to a shop now button. And then I'm just going to go with our typical layout. They have really good visuals, so I want to have a cool visual of the chocolate bar. Cool visual of chocolate bar right here, which we can probably take from something. Yeah, like this is perfect. We'll use this and make it look super cool. And so for the headline, what do we want to do? So for the headline, I want to make sure it mentions peanut butter. And this is the only one that mentions it. Give me more headline options that have peanut butter in it. Let's see what we can get here that maybe we can steal. Okay, so going at these, I kind of like, because he always says that slaps, so I think we can do something like peanut butter that slaps. If we had the and it's clean, we could do that, but I think we might run out of words here, so I'm gonna do peanut butter that slaps. And then for body copy, we had this little blurb up here, which we like. You've had chocolate, you've had peanut butter, but never like this. I like how educational this is, but I also like this, so I'm gonna take this as well. Do we think that that could fit in? This isn't your average gas station candy. And then we'll take in this blurb that I liked right here, and this should be pretty good to go, I think, after we wordsmith this all in. You've had chocolate, you've had peanut butter, but never like this. This isn't your average gas station candy. Rich creamy peanut butter meets organic milk chocolate in a combo that hits every time. No GMOs, no palm oil, just real deal deliciousness. Perfect, love that. Now we need to add our bridge section. So we just have text here in this bridge section. I probably want some sort of graphic. Maybe I kind of just like this right here. I'm just gonna say, give me more options for bridge section as infographics. So we can get some different things right here. This is talking about a lot of the ingredients inside. From farm to feast, sustainability timeline. This is a pretty cool idea. These different sections right here, metrics, so different metrics we could do. Feastables, impact stats. So I'm going rogue here because kind of what I want to do is I want to leverage us against big chocolate. So I want to say, I want to create like an us versus them feel with our brand because that's why it was created. So what I would do here is add something like taking down big chocolate with ethical sourcing. I think that's a really good subheadline. And then let's talk about, okay, what is ethical sourcing? So I'd probably say something like summarize ethical sourcing for Feastables in bullet points. And then we'll have just like a little bullet point infographic of what this means for us. Rainforest Alliance certified cacao, transparency in sourcing, no palm oils, regenerative agriculture goals, sustainability driven packaging. Okay, more quick ones. Fair pay for farmers. Okay, we got a lot more here. I'm just gonna pick out 5 of these. So this is what we've ended up with, and we should be all good to go. Actually, we always wanna end with a general CTA, so I'm just gonna add something super simple. I think this bridge section will take up a little bit of space. We're gonna have a lot of heavy visuals at the top. So I'm just gonna add a section here, like shop below to get yours. And then something fun, we could say like, your taste buds will thank you. And then shop peanut butter bar. We'll just have this final quick call to action, and then we will have our footer, and we are all good to design. Peanut butter, that slaps. You've had chocolate, you've had peanut butter, but never like this. This isn't your gas station candy, rich creamy, bridge section, and then a final little call to action, and then our footer, banger. And now we have the Calvin Klein up at the top. Nice and simple, straight to the discount. Typically for clothing brands, we need a little bit less words and more showing the products. So this is okay right here. We have less copy, just straight to the products and showing the value of the sale. That's always what we want in sales, is show the value. And then right here for just highlighting a product that make it kind of seem new, peanut butter that slaps, you've had chocolate. It kind of seems like this is new coming out. So it can hit on that sort of novelty factor that psychologically humans love. We're gonna have a button way up high in the email. Perfect, we're gonna have a cool visual with the chocolate bar. We're gonna have a bridge section, which if you're doing non-discount emails, we need to make sure we have good education and kind of like different ways that we can psychologically get the customer to buy, such as doing like us versus them, like why support big chocolate? We're taking them down. This is what ethical sourcing means for us. Then find a little call to action in footer. We are all good to design here. Alrighty, so we have the copy all completed for both of these. Now let's actually get to the designing. I'm gonna start with the Feastables one. We just did it, fresh on my mind, and I have a lot of ideas, so I wanna do that first. But we're going to our design tool. This is Figma. I'm gonna be walking you through this. I have also another tutorial on my channel on email design with Figma. It's the best tool. Highly recommend using it. Essentially, you have this big field, and we can do our all of our edits and all the stuff we need to do right here inside of Figma. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to designing. The first thing I like to always do is we're going to start off with some sort of you can do a frame, you could start off with a rectangle, whatever you want. We can have this right here. I like to make my emails 600 pixels wide, and then now we can kind of like map out our email with everything that we want. So I just put in kind of the copy right here and what the email is going to look like, just so we have it for reference. So I'm actually just going to insert a frame here, name this the Feastables email. So looking at their website here, there's a lot of things that we could do. I think for the background, I want to go for like this little like lines, these like flashing lines right here. I think that's what I'm going to go for the background of this email. So we're going to need to find this blue. We're going to need to find like how to use these like line things. I'll go see what kind of patterns that I can find. And exactly, I want the background to be just like this right here, this background. And so what we can do is you can go to free pick. This is the tool that I use for any like sort of backgrounds. And right here, we already have a ton of stuff that we can use. We can literally just copy any one of these. And so I've found this, I've imported this into the document, and kind of all we need to do is drag this in here and then boom. So we have this. I'm gonna leave this here for now, but it is a little bit too light. We want it to be just like a darker blue, kind of like this. So what we can do is we can find color right here. And then I just like to go to something like Color Finder. We can insert this image here and then find here, take the hex, go back into Figma, take a rectangle, make it that color, and then let's put this right over here. And then I'm gonna send this to the back. We have this, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can turn the opacity down so we can see the background design a little bit more, and then boom. This should be pretty good, something just like this. So let's move forward with this. So now we have the main sort of like background figured out. Let's paste in this logo, center it right in the middle right here. Make sure we go all the way to the edge right here. And then boom, let us put in our copy. So I just put in a text box, went in like this. I can center you right here. And then I found the font. We're just gonna be using Canet, however you pronounce this. Every brand's gonna be a different font, but this is what we're gonna do here. Gonna wanna make this a lot bigger. Kind of what I'm thinking of is having something like this headline where peanut butter is in big, and then under it, it says that slaps. So that's what I'm gonna go with here. A lot of emails and good graphic design, they have different sizes, different dimensions of different parts just to give it some more depth. So kind of what I'm thinking here is if we make this all caps right here, and we make this one super thick, just like that, pause, and then we put in whatever color we want. We can go to like an orange color right here so that it's the color of peanut butter. So this looks good right here, peanut butter. And actually I kind of want this to be bigger. Could make this even bigger if we did something like 75. I'm gonna separate this text out just so I can come back to it. You know what? I actually just went to their website and I found this. It says peanut butter, and it looks just like a plain product or plain image right here. So what if I just literally use this? Okay, this is perfect. Let's put this in and, oh, perfect. Oh, this is way better than I could have done. I want to make this smaller, but I want to make sure that I don't mess up any of the dimensions. So I'm just going to do this, and then we could do just like that. Move this a little bit under. Let's change this to be capital letters as well, and probably make this a little bit smaller so it's a little bit cleaner. Maybe a little bit more bold, and boom, that actually looks pretty solid. Peanut butter, that slaps. Let's copy and paste and put in our body copy right here. Go back here, copy and paste our body copy. Put you in here, and this is obviously way too wide. Going to adjust this. I'm just gonna mess around with the sizing a little bit, and I will get back to you guys. All right, so this is what we ended with. Went with size 18, centered it just like this. We're all good. We're gonna add in our button right here, and then we're gonna pull in our pictures of the chocolate. So for a button, we can just enter a box right here. And for the color, we can use this tool here to find this color just to make this match a little bit. I usually like to make my buttons pretty big. The bigger the better because it's easier for the customer to click. So we wanna make sure these are big. Just copy and pasting this text and saying shop now. I'll insert this in, right click, bring this to the front, and then I'm going to group these two together. And we have this trick right here called auto layout. Make this a little smaller, and then we could center this how we want. We can also click these two and use this tool auto layout, and then it'll center it and then make sure that everything is formatted properly. So looking here, I want to replicate this button on their website. So they have corners, it's rounded, and they have a black border. So what we can do here is we can go around here, add a corner radius, do something like 5. That should be pretty good. And then we can add a stroke. If we add a stroke right here, it'll automatically add that bold outline around there. So maybe let's make this a little bit thicker, and that seems to be good to go, just like that. I'm gonna bold this text and maybe italicize it, kind of like how they do it. Boom, that should be perfect. Look at this, not too bad. Now let's get our chocolate graphic, which we're just going to take from here. Perfect, just dragged it in here, and this should fit pretty well, honestly. Make this smaller. Drag this in just like this, and this is looking pretty sweet up here. One thing I don't like is this seems very tall. It's going to take a while to scroll, so I'm going to see if I can cut down on our lines by spreading this out a little bit, and that already looks a little bit better. Let's move this up here, and boom, this isn't looking too bad at all. And I kind of want to make this even more 3D. Just got this off of the internet right here. Just looked up peanut butter swoosh, and I got this, and I think that this will add a lot of depth. Maybe if we put this behind it, make it look even more explosive. And look at that, that's looking pretty clean if we add it to like something like right back here. And then this is just a different part of this image that I want to drag in just to give us a little bit more depth. And already this is looking pretty sweet. Let's move this down because we have this going over the text. We want to make sure that moves behind the text. A little bit hard to read, so maybe we want to adjust this a little bit, but this is looking pretty good. And I really want to have these little clouds. I think that this would be super cool and like little rainbows, so I'm gonna go see what I can find. Some things like this, oh, this would be perfect. All right, I was able to pull some of these from their website, and I think that these are gonna be sweet. Oh, I love this. Add in some clouds throughout, and this is just gonna add a ton to the email. Oh my goodness, look at how much more life this just got. Love this. I think think this hero section is pretty much good to go. Let's move on and get to our bridge section. So we just need to extend this email down. I need to cut off these sections right here, push them up, maybe move it to like right here so we can get on with the next section. And actually to help this transition, because I'm gonna switch the transition from blue probably, and this will help kind of like alleviate that. And so we need this background right here, this grainy little texture. And so I actually pulled one from Free Pick, just copied it, and we've pretty much replicated it. So this is the other background of the email that I want to use. If we drag it in right here, I'll send it to the back. And then perfect, this looks like MrBeast's website. And for this section, we have the taking down big chocolate. We're gonna have a list right here. And so what I want to do is I'm just gonna pull an image, or actually, you know what? Let's add the copy in here. And so I just brought in the copy here. And then for this top headline, which is right here, all I did was I made it bold, added a fill. And then actually what I did here is I added the same thing just right here as backgrounds, but made it black. And then we have this right here. But I want to have an image to show that it's real. And so I'm just going to copy this image right here. So just copy and pasted this in, made sure the copy was right here, and then we are really good right here. And then we have the what ethical sourcing means at Feastables. Now for this section of the bullet points that we are supposed to be hitting, I just don't like how this looks, so I'm gonna see if I can find something on Milled. I think Monk Pack is pretty similar to us. So I want to see if I can find how they have executed some sort of list. Couldn't find anything, so I went back to their website, and they have these FAQ boxes. So I think I might just copy this because I like how it looks. And so I'm gonna try to do something like that as well. And so I'm just gonna copy and paste, put the text right here, and let me look. So we have a rectangle, and then we have words in the rectangle. So let's put this rectangle. For the color, we're gonna copy this same color as well. We're gonna add another corner radius because it looks like they have corner radiuses on this. And then we have a black outline here. So let's add another stroke, maybe set it at like 4, maybe make this a little bigger. I just pulled a frame of a plus sign right here, and we could just use this. And then let's put in this first bullet point and see how this looks. Boom, okay, that doesn't look that bad. Cool, let's try this out and see how it looks for everything. All right, so this is what we came up with. I did a little bit of advanced organization here on the left side, but you can see those rectangles that I just put in the copy right here. And we have everything right here in this section, and this looks pretty good. I like it. We have it all in one frame. So I used these as little frames. And so if you click onto something, you can see it's a frame right here. And so it's all grouped together. And then I put a frame around all these frames. And then what you can do within these is you can do different things. Like you can change the distance between them with something like this if we wanted them to be wider. But I think this looks good. We'll extend this background a little bit to right here. And then let's end with our final shop below to get yours section. So I'm just copy and pasting the same background as before, and then I just want to move this to the back. And I think if we end with like a final section like this to bring it all together, that should be pretty cool. Need to bring the same rectangle blue color, so it's the same. And then we're just gonna copy and paste and put this shop below to get yours. Your taste buds will thank you. Copy and paste you. This looks good, but this is kind of awkward, so I'm gonna put this on a different line. Your taste buds will thank you. I'm gonna capitalize this right here. And then this kind of looks a bit small, but I'll add that later. I'm just going to copy and paste this last call to action and put it here. What would happen if I made you a little bit bigger? Okay, I like that. And then kind of want to spread these out. So maybe line height, if we increase the line height, these will spread out. Perfect. And this was a bit of a harsh transition. So I just found this little piece, which is also on their website. So that kind of helps with that. Maybe I want to move it over so it's separate as the other, but maybe that's fine right there. And boom. That looks really good. Now let's add in the footer. All right, so just doing the finishing touches here. Let me crop this to where I want, and boom, let me show you what I did. So to add some extra depth here, I put this in like the foreground, and it kind of looks like we still have this design going, spurting out from the call to action, which is super cool. And actually this still looks a little bit bare, so let me get a couple of clouds. I think that'll make this look a little bit cooler. There we go. Okay, now we're looking good. This email is looking pretty sweet. I'm going to spend a couple more minutes kind of like touching things up to be where I want it to be. Alrighty, so here is the final product. I made it a little bit more vivid, like the colors throughout. I added these lines right here to separate the sections just a little bit more. We have this section, and then I did the same thing here, changed the call to action to say shop peanut butter bar, and put in the footer right here with just like buttons and sections right here with the logo, and then just what they had in their footer. And we are looking pretty saucy. I love how this turned out. I'd be lying if I said I didn't consult with one of my designers on hand to put this together, but this is amazing. Shout out Diana. Amazing email. This was the before, and then this is how we turned out. This is just what reviewing tens of thousands of emails over the course of a long time can help you bring to life. All right, so we have this one. Now let's go to the Calvin Klein email, which I think is gonna be a lot simpler and hopefully a lot faster. All right, so I kind of put the layout here. I deleted the images and then kind of put them back, but this is what we're working with. Let's get to designing this email. So let's put in a new frame right here. We'll name it Calvin Klein. Let's set the background is set as white. Let's set this as 600 width. So I'm gonna start by putting all the copy in here because there are a lot of different ways that you could put together an email. For this one, I'm gonna start with putting all the copy inside. All right, so I just put the copy in with just like some estimates on like sizing and where it could be. The fonts that I'm using, I'm just using Geist. It's the closest thing that I could find to their website. And so for this email, we're probably gonna keep it pretty minimal and have this white background so it's very familiar to them in their website. Then we're gonna use this red color and we're just gonna show a lot of models in their products. So this is what we're looking with. We put a photo gallery, so I'm gonna pull in some pictures of the logo tees and then we'll try to make some sort of photo gallery here. I'm just looking at Aloe here to get some inspiration maybe on some different photo galleries. So they do a lot of like full image here. So they keep it pretty simple. So I think we'll keep it pretty simple as well. All right, so I got a couple of their logo tees that they were highlighting and pushing a little bit across their different channels. So let's see what I can do here. I might mix things up a little bit and not have this here and try to have like a photo gallery kind of in the middle. These are all kind of like different sizes, so it's a little bit awkward. But something I've seen brands do is if you don't have these overlap and you have like a little bit of the background in there, like something like this, it could look a little better. Let me play around with moving these around a little bit. Okay, so here's what I ended up doing. I tried to make some space for something to fit in. And I think I like this. We had to crop these a little bit, but what we can do here, which I've been seeing a lot of brands do, is you can actually move the logo and everything kind of to the side a little bit and do something like this. And we could move this down a little bit and have it all be in one line. Move these together, and I kind of like this. It's like a 3D sort of look right here. I think that this is pretty cool. I like it. It's different. You don't see a lot of brands doing this. And this is how you can stand out in the inbox, finding different ways to show how you're displaying your products. And of course, mixing things up for the subscriber. So I kind of like this. Let's try it out and see how we like it and how the email progresses. But we do still need to add our buttons right here. So all I'm going to do is, again, put in a rectangle, maybe duplicate it. Maybe I will frame you two, use auto layout right here so that they're hugged together, change them to black, put in the copy here, adjust these, and this looks pretty good. Looks like a decent top hero section right here. Just nice and simple, to the point, it kind of matches their website. Perfect, now let's move into this next section. So what we need to do under pair with denim, then women's denim, is we need to recreate this for some different product images. So let's find a couple of our products that we want to use. All right, so I pulled a few here and I've started to put in the text with the percent off. You can just see this is just a line right here. It's just slightly smaller and crossed it out. You can see with the strike through right here. And then I made the price a little bit bigger and then read 30% off, and then shop now. I just did underlined, sort of like a bold shop now right here. And then we have this product image right here. So now we have to figure out how in the world are we going to do this. So there are a couple ways that we can do this. Essentially, what we need is we need a border and we need this girl to go in front of it. So actually something that we can do. So what I'm gonna do here is we wanna separate this girl from the background. And so if we go to plugins right here, Icons 8 background remover, we can remove background, select the image, and then go to the Icons 8 background remover, remove background. And then what this is gonna do is this is gonna separate her from the actual background. So let's let this run a second and see what it pops out. All right, perfect. So you can see it removed the background. This is what it was before, and this is what it is now. So now if we wanted to, we could do whatever sort of stuff like this, have her cast a shadow, have there be multiple of her, and the background is untouched. Now what we need that for is the background. So if we put this picture of her right here, and then we line it up so it's perfect, and then we cut the background, I'm holding down Command on my keyboard, and go like this, we can see that in the background, she's getting cut off, but in the foreground, since we have this piece of her that's right here, this goes over the top. So it gives that cool effect where it's like almost 3D, which gives it that really cool look. And then we can add a border right here. So if we wanted to go to this image right here and then add a border, a stroke just like that, then boom, we kind of have this effect where it goes around her just like this, exactly in the example that we're going for. So now we need to add the other border right down here, and we need to add this kind of around this section. So all we need to do is add in a rectangle, align this up, make a white background, add in the stroke that we want, and then we'll move this behind everything right here and then adjust right here how we want it. Looks super thick when they're lined up, so let's move this up, and now we are looking pretty solid. I like it. This is great. Now let's recreate this for everybody. Alrighty, here we are. I just finished updating this, so you're gonna see a couple things a little bit different that I changed. I added in all the remaining products, added in the buttons, and then women's denim, men's denim, but you'll see this background I actually changed. And it's kind of like a beach sort of vibe right here, which I think kind of goes well with like the brown background here. All I did was I went to free pick here, and then I found something just like this. I couldn't find it again, but found something just like this, and then kind of like set it as the background. Zoomed in a little bit, and you can see the image right here. There's the girl's background, and then you can see the image right here. You can actually see this was the exact image that I chose right here for the background, and then just zoomed in on the waves, put it inside this frame, had to mess around with it a little bit, and then boom, we're all set. Super clean, super effective. Something to note about this section is every item needs to have a shop now button so that the customer knows that they can click and go shop that item right now. So right there, we are all set. We're done with this section. Now we need to do the bonus savings in store. So typically something like this, we're gonna wanna do something kind of like this, but I'm gonna separate it from the footer this time just to show you guys that we can do that. And when we have something like this, I could just make it plain, but typically I like to kind of put this over top like an image of some sort. It kind of just stands out a little bit above just like the plain footer, which we're gonna have. Okay, so I just pulled this image, which is pretty solid, adjusted the sizing of it to just be right here. Kind of just like the aesthetic of the brand was one of the first things I saw on the website. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in, I'm gonna move this to the back, and then put you here. We're gonna have to change the color of this to white. And so when it's difficult to see like this, what we can do is if you go to fill down here, we click plus, we can add kind of like a shadow in front of it so it's nice and dark. We're gonna make this dark enough until we can see our text super clearly. So I think that's probably good right here, kind of at 60. Let's just center these, and this looks pretty good. And now we can add our footer. For the footer, super straightforward. All that we did was we just added the logo right here, and then just added a couple different boxes right here, and added in and split by category. We always want to have shop by category or some sort of thing in the footer so that the customer, if they get to the bottom of this email and they kind of don't find the product that they like, they could scroll to the bottom and be like, you know what? Maybe I will go shop new arrivals, or maybe I will go shop denim or underwear or jackets. Whatever it is, we want to give them that option. So this is looking good. I don't really have any other edits. I think this is clean. It's a little bit different. I actually just noticed that this isn't really centered, so I need to center that. And I am not a designer by any means. I'm sure a lot of the designers out there watching this are like probably gritting their teeth because I don't use auto layout or anything like that too much, or any of the cool like Figma tools. A lot of this stuff, I'm just eyeing it. That's why I hire designers. Like this right here, just noticing that this isn't centered. So let's shift this, and then that looks good enough. Maybe if you look at this through a magnifying glass, you're gonna find some subtle differences, but we're fine. So looks like we are all good to go. Let's actually upload these emails into Klaviyo so that we can send them. So in order to upload this into our sending platform, all that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna use this slice tool. And essentially what this slice tool does is anything within the frame that you slice, you can export it as like an image. And so that is what we're going to do. We're going to be slicing up our emails into small sections because each individual section is going to have its own link. Like for example, this little section right here needs to have a different link because it needs to link to the 90s loose fit jeans, whereas this section needs to be the skinny jeans. And you don't want to have too big of a slice because that's going to be a big file for the customer. We want to split things up, and kind of the biggest size that you'd want is probably around 800 or so in length. And so instead, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to split just before these call to actions. Go just like this. I'm going to export them. I like to export on 2 times, and we're going to save them as image slices as PNGs. And then we can slice up the rest of the email and do what we want. So for this next section, I'm just going to line these up. Now we need to split by the call to action. We can split it all the way over here. We want to set dimensions as 300 because our email is 600 in width. We want this to be exactly halfway. Make sure that's lined up, and then boom, export this slice, copy and paste, go over to the other side. This is going to be the next slice, and then repeat this for these bottom sections. And then once we have our image slice, I'm just going to do just half of this because I think you guys will get the point. Before we upload to Klaviyo, we want to compress these image files because right now they're really big and really complex files. And so I like to go to iloveimg.com. You go to this compress image section. We're going to take all of our slices wherever they are, upload them in, compress it, and you'll see that it made our files 72% smaller. And the differences in the image quality is really minimal. We can click on this. You can see it's still very high quality. So let's go back into Klaviyo. Let's create a campaign. We'll say test Calvin Klein, send an email, click continue, whatever audience we want. Say I did just newsletter, turn you off, put our subject line hi there. And then we're just going to create our email right here. And all we're going to be doing is uploading our email as image blocks. So I'm just going to delete these sections right here. I'm just going to drag in these images right here, upload our compressed files. Here's slice 1. Upload this. Klaviyo has a compressed option. They'll do the compressing for you. However, I found that it's not too good quite yet. I still prefer to use iloveimg. So actually right here, we have the buttons that we need to split by. And so what we can do is we can insert a table right here and then switch this to an image cell content. You can see there's kind of like gaps around here. So if we go to styles, we can, okay, my camera just died. I'm literally on my phone right now, but let me finish showing this to you because we have our table right here. We want to enter 0 for the padding so that we just have our images, and we can edit this in just like this. And then you can see those images go full bleed now. And then we can put in our different buttons over here, upload these, do the same thing for this side. And we can actually delete this because we have another table that we're going to introduce right here. And then just like that, we have 2 tables right here. We have this, and then we could have the other slices to our emails down here at the bottom. And all that we have to do is add in our links right here on top of all of our images wherever they're going. So this, I would just put the link of the Calvin Klein product section. So if we go to men's, then we could just click this link and then upload it for the men's for this sort of link right here. And then you just put the links throughout and then you are good to go. And that's literally it, just uploading as images inside of Klaviyo. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the little camera malfunction there at the end, but I hope you got value from this. Make sure to check out this video on my channel for more knowledge on email marketing. Again, appreciate you watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.